and we're back. And I actually have news about comics that I've read with my own eyeballs, and I feel like it's been so long since I've reviewed a comic, but Mad Cave Studios sent me some of their first issues, and let me tell you, buckle up because I had a great time. So without further ado, let's talk comics. Now, you may have heard of Mad Cave Studios recently from my recent video and or articles, but basically they started this really cool GoFundMe where they donated 10,000 of their own dollars in hopes to raise $100,000 to help out US comic retailers who are suffering right now like a lot of small businesses are. And I thought that was super cool, and I was more than willing to just put that out into the world with my journalism powers, aka write a story and put it on KGW's website, maybe make a little video about it. But then they're like, hey, you want to read some of my comics? I'm like, oh my god, I'm in quarantine, please. I'm bored. And they sent over a bunch of issues of their first issues of their comics, and I didn't really have any preconceived notions about what Mad Cave Studios creates comic-wise, so I just picked two of them, and I thought, these look interesting, and they were great. The first of which was called Show's End. Now, I'm from Florida, and Mad Cave Studios is based in Miami, Florida, but there is this town called Gibsontown, or Gibbstown in Florida, which is sort of the last vestiges of Sideshow in America. It's like where a lot of people who used to be in sideshows moved. I have such a deep interest in sideshows. I know that the nature of them historically was that they would exploit people who often had like physical abnormalities. However, there are also a lot of accounts of people having nowhere to go, finding work in sideshows and stuff like that, and this is kind of where that comic sits, and that to me is just so interesting. I have such a I don't know, it's just like a weird hobby of mine to like research that kind of stuff. I'm very, very interested in it. So I was really drawn to this comic. I didn't know anything about it, and it was so good. It was about, as you might guess, sort of a sideshow, circus sideshow, and all of these sort of underdogs coming together, the idea of them being different, you know, all those things that you can expect. But there's a female protagonist with powers we don't learn about yet in the first issue, but you know it's coming. And there's also a monster to create sort of obviously like conflict and also intrigue. I need to know what the deal is with the monster. He's kind of a sad backstory and you feel bad for him and you want to learn more about the girl because she's so cool. And this comic just ramped me up and then broke my little heart. And I don't want to spoil it for you because it's for free to download on Mad Cave Studios right now. The first issue is. So you should go to their website and read it and then find me on social media over here and tell me about it because I really, really enjoyed it. Again, I do have a vested interest in sideshow history and stuff like that. It's just a weird thing about me. I'm really fun at like cocktail parties. But I had a great time and I really liked this comic and I would genuinely recommend it to you. So if you're interested in it, go to madcavestudios.com and download the first issue. Please let me know what you think about it. The second comic that I read is called Wolvenheart. And I read it because it has a dude in a top hat with long hair and he looked like maybe he'd be a werewolf, and that is very my jam. Werewolf, sort of werewolf in London, turn of the century, like that is my stuff, and I was ready for it, and I was not like entirely wrong, but wrong about what I thought about this. So the guy on the cover, his name is Sterling, and he's part of the Wolvenheart group of monster hunters, including also some keywords here: time travel, Van Helsing, Nikola Tesla. Need I say more? I mean, I'm going to, but need I? Anyway, you're endeared to Sterling immediately. He's sort of sassy and smart. He's really good at what he does. But not only is he just like a monster hunter, but also thinks some like Doctor Who time travel, going through history, killing monsters, which is monster hunting and like also that sort of thing. Doesn't exactly sound like two things in my brain that should do the thing, but they did the thing, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that my expectations were sort of exceeded, and it wasn't just sort of a story about like a torn werewolf or something, which I would have also been down for, but this was really, really cool, and it did something that I really love to read in comics and books in general, where it takes real actual things from history and then injects some sci-fi and fantasy into them to sort of twist the way that we perceive these historical events happening. I love that. There is some of that in this comic, and I had a great time with it. Sterling and Nikola Tesla are best friends. What a weird thing. I don't know. It was just really good. Sterling is from, I believe, the 1800s, and so he kind of travels back to see some of the people from his past, or his present, I guess it would be, and you learn a little bit about him, and he's officially the only man in a top hat who's allowed to talk to me in this year of our Lord 2020. I know he's fictional, but I don't know, I've been in quarantine a while, so Listen, The Witcher's really hot right now, so like if you're into, you know, Monster Hunter stuff, pick it up. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anybody who's into that kind of thing. And I want to read the second issue, so I think this is a lot. Again, this issue number 1 is for free download on Mad Cave Studios' website right now. A bunch of their books are. And if their GoFundMe, which is money that's going to local comic book shops like your own, gets to $15,000, they will also make the issue 2 of the comics that are for free on their website right now available to the public for free, which is super cool. So if you are like me in quarantine right now, I hope that you are. I hope that you're staying home in order to flatten the curve in your area wherever you are. You're staying healthy and safe. And you're looking for something to read, visit Mad Cave Studios. I just want to say thank you so much to them for letting me read their comics and also making them available to the public right now, because you know, we're all maybe going a little stir crazy. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm going a little stir crazy. So thank you so much for the things to read in quarantine. I truly cannot thank you enough. And I want to start getting back into these videos where I'm reviewing comics and just chatting with you guys. I want to know what you're reading. I hope that you read these comics, Wolvenheart and Show's End, and you let me know on Twitter what you think of them. But I also want to know if you're reading some of your old favorites, going back through, you know, your little boxes, or if you're reaching for that to-read shelf on your bookshelf. I have many comics to read, and yet here I sit. I'll figure it out sooner or later, but I just, you know, I wanted to tell you guys about these comics because I really enjoyed them, and I hope that you enjoy them too. I know I talk a lot about superhero stuff on this channel as well. Of course I love superhero comics, but I love getting into beyond superhero comics as well, and this was a great sort of break of pace, I guess, if you want to call it. I'm so excited to read Show's End number 2. I liked both the comics, but my little sideshow obsession is really showing. So with that, I don't really know how to end these videos from home, but I hope you're all staying safe and happy and healthy and taking care of yourself and your loved ones. And I'll be back next week. I will read more comics. We can chat about them. I don't know what I'm gonna read, but if you follow me on Twitter, I will, you know, tweet what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about, and maybe we can read together. Let's social distance book club. You know. But until next time, this has been Nerd News with Destiny.